A violinist is suing Will Smith, claiming retaliation after he alleges that he was fired for reporting harassment while on tour.
I was hired to be a performer on a major tour with somebody who is huge in the industry. So I was excited, proud of myself for getting the opportunity. Unfortunately, some things happened, and I can't get into the details of exactly what that was, because it's already a legal issue right now. But the reason why I'm speaking out about this is because getting fired or getting blamed or shamed or threatened or anything like that, simply for reporting misconduct or safety threats at work, is not okay. And I know that there's a lot of other people out there who have been afraid to speak up, and I understand. And if that's you, I see you.
For years, Will Smith was Hollywood's golden boy, a star who appeared untouchable. But that image has come under increasing scrutiny as lawsuits alleging misconduct emerged and public conversations began revisiting moments from his personal life, including remarks and actions involving his own family that many now see as exposing long-hidden tensions. Altogether, these developments have sparked serious questions about the future of his career and his public reputation.
To all of you, there is no part of me that thinks that was the right way to behave in that moment. I am deeply remorseful, and I'm trying to be remorseful without being ashamed of myself. I made a mistake, and I'm trying not to think of myself as a piece of shit.
When someone reaches Will Smith's level of fame, their choices often play out on a scale far beyond what most people can imagine. Back in 2008, Will and Jada quietly took a step that barely raised eyebrows at the time, but is now being re-examined in a very different light. They opened a private school in Calabasas called the New Village Leadership Academy, promoted as an elite, progressive environment for children of Hollywood's inner circle. Controversies surfaced later when former staff and observers pointed out that the school's curriculum was rooted in study technology, an educational system publicly linked to the Church of Scientology. Multiple accounts claim some teachers were required to train at the Scientology Celebrity Center, and materials connected to Ron Hubbard were reportedly present on campus. Over time, former employees described the school as functioning less like an independent academy and more like a Scientology-influenced environment. By 2013, the school closed after parents began withdrawing their children. Since then, public discussion has revolved around one pressing question: why would Will Smith risk his carefully protected public image by associating with something so controversial? One theory circulating online points to pressure or leverage. Critics often reference Scientology's practice of auditing, in which participants disclose deeply personal fears, experiences, and traumas while connected to an e-meter device. According to long-standing claims from former members, these sessions are documented and archived in detail that has fueled speculation for years. Within that context, Gene Deal publicly alleged that the organization possessed compromising material involving Will Smith, including what he described as a secret tape that could potentially be used as leverage.
Tape that's being shopped around, a Diddy and another Mill. They say the other Mill is an A-list celebrity.
I would wonder if he's white or black. And if I'm looking at any black guys that are A-listers that's bigger than Diddy, there's only one that I could come up with, and there's a few I could come up with. Will Smith.
These claims remain allegations, but they ignited widespread online debate and speculation at the time. At the same time, attention shifted to elements of Will's personal relationships. His long-standing friendship with actor Dwayne Martin drew particular interest. The two were frequently seen together over the years, with Dwayne often present in Will's inner circle despite never achieving the same level of mainstream fame. While many saw this as a close Hollywood friendship, others online began speculating that the bond was unusually intense, giving rise to rumors that extended beyond what was publicly acknowledged. For years, these rumors stayed largely out of mainstream coverage, as Will's public image was tightly managed. However, scrutiny grew as more details about his marriage emerged. Publicly, Will and Jada projected an image of unity, but some viewers felt their interviews and appearances often seemed rehearsed, with displays of affection that appeared strained rather than genuine.
Rather than natural. You know Esther Perel's coming to the table. She's going to be at the red table. Would you say she has been instrumental in you and I redefining our relationship?
I would say don't just start filming me without asking me
Oh my goodness.
if you could film me.
Esther, come help us again, please. I'm still dealing with foolishness.
Because she don't just...
Would you say that she helped us heal the hurts that we caused between one another?
My social media presence is my bread and butter, okay? So you can't just use me for social media and not, don't just start I'm standing in my...
In 2016, the story took a new turn when Jada revealed that this was the year they had effectively begun living separate lives. Her openness about that period prompted many to reconsider what had been happening behind closed doors, suggesting that the challenges in their marriage ran far deeper than what had been publicly portrayed. During the pandemic, Jada Pinkett Smith addressed her personal life on Red Table Talk, creating one of the most talked about moments in recent Hollywood history. She openly discussed what she described as an entanglement with singer August Alsina, a term that immediately ignited widespread discussion online.
I was going through a very difficult time.
Yeah.
And we decided...
I was done with your ass.
Yeah, you kicked me to the curb.
I was done with you.
Yeah.
Marriages have that, though. Marriages have that.
Yeah, we basically, we broke up.
We decided that we were going to separate for a period of time, and you go figure out how to make yourself happy, and I'll figure out how to make myself happy.
Well, at that particular point in time, it was indefinite.
Yeah, I really felt like we could be over. We
were.
Jada explained that the relationship occurred during a period when she and Will were separated, and that Will had been aware of it, a point he seemed to acknowledge during the same conversation. The exchange quickly went viral, not just for the revelation itself, but because many viewers felt the interaction seemed unusually staged. The tone, body language, and phrasing led some to question how much of it was genuine versus carefully managed for the cameras. The term entanglement soon became a meme, with the internet openly mocking how surreal and uncomfortable the moment appeared. What's often overlooked is the timing. 2016, the same year Jada later said their marriage effectively ended, was also when she became the public face of the hashtag #OscarsSoWhite boycott, placing her at the center of a major industry controversy. Years later, during the 2022 Oscars, Chris Rock referenced that boycott in a joke, sparking the now infamous on-stage confrontation. Around that time, rumors circulated that Rock had previously shown personal interest in Jada following reports of the marital separation, though these claims were never formally confirmed. Viewed through that lens, some commentators suggested that Will's reaction that night may not have been solely about a single joke, but rather the culmination of long-standing tension, resentment, and unresolved personal history. After the incident, public scrutiny intensified even further.
To my queens out there that have been cheated on by their men, it's not your fault. Stop making it your fault. To my kings out there that have been cheated on by their women, stop making it your fault. Yes, women cheat too. Now here's the other thing. This is one of the strongest forces in the universe that we have to deal with. This is about self-mastery. It's not even about what's going on in a relationship. This is about self-mastery.
Individuals who had stayed silent for years began speaking out more openly. Actress Tisha Campbell, formerly married to Dwayne Martin, a longtime member of Will's inner circle, publicly hinted that there were aspects of Will and Dwayne's relationship that had not yet been fully revealed, suggesting that more details could emerge in the future. But these aren't the only questions surrounding Will's story. Actor Briar Gray, known for his role on Empire, was also publicly linked to Will in ways that some observers described as unusual, sparking renewed online discussion and speculation rather than offering any clear answers.
I guess when you're a celebrity or if you're a person of public interest, you gotta do anything. It's just like...
Around the same time, Cher spoke openly about the entertainment industry, describing it as a dark environment that she claimed was systematically breaking people down. While her comments weren't aimed at any one individual, they contributed to a broader narrative questioning what truly happens behind Hollywood's polished facade. Many of these claims are difficult to verify and remain unproven, but when similar themes emerge across multiple voices and time periods, public attention naturally intensifies and speculation grows. That conversation expanded further with Jaguar Wright, who has made a series of explosive claims about secretive power circles within the industry. She spoke of alleged rituals and hidden dynamics that, she says, exist entirely beyond the public eye.
He say nothing about Bashir. He played his television father.
Right.
He was on set. He saw what Charlie Mack and them were doing. He knew they were taking those young boys to Diddy.
While her statements remain widely debated and disputed, her presence has undeniably sparked a broader conversation about transparency and power in Hollywood. Yet the most disruptive figure in this unfolding story has been Bal Salam, also known as Bilal. Bal has publicly claimed to have been a childhood friend of Will Smith in Philadelphia, later joining Will's inner circle as a personal assistant. According to his own accounts, this position gave him access to private aspects of Will's life that had never been seen by the public, setting the stage for allegations and legal disputes that would emerge years later.
Right? So, all right, I open the door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and having an with Will.
Let me process that for a second.
There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch, and Dwayne was standing up, killing him. Like, there was murder in there.
At this stage, Bal Salam has become one of the most significant challenges to Will Smith's carefully maintained public image and a potential source of legal complications. In December 2024, Bal filed a $3 million lawsuit against Jada Pinkett Smith. According to him, that lawsuit represents only a fraction of what he claims to know, as his subsequent interviews and media appearances have continued to draw intense public attention. In late 2023, Bal appeared on Unwind with Tasha K, presenting allegations he described as first-hand observations rather than second-hand rumors. He claimed to have witnessed behavior involving Will Smith and his longtime associate Dwayne Martin, a figure who has been part of Will's inner circle for decades. While Bal avoided providing explicit details, he insisted that what he observed was not an isolated incident, but something he alleged occurred multiple times.
The woman that everybody wanted, and Will needed that validation to have that type of woman.
You saw her say that Will Smith had a small dick?
Oh, I am saying to you, if a woman is used to something the size of a baby leg and you come in with a pinky toe, there's nothing you can do to please her. You can buy her 80 cars, you can get her 80 private jets. If she's itching for that baby leg, she want that baby leg. You can beat a person so much that they fall in.
Bal went further by repeating long-standing rumors that had quietly circulated within Hollywood but were rarely addressed publicly. One claim involved what he called the pinky toe thing, a phrase he framed as an internal joke or metaphor allegedly used to demean and embarrass Will in comparison to Dwayne. According to Bal, this was intended to undermine Will's status and pride. While these assertions remain contested and are based solely on his personal account, one fact is clear. Bal Salam's statements have cast a long shadow over the carefully curated image Will Smith spent decades building. This isn't about declaring guilt or innocence. That judgment belongs to the courts. However, Bal is no longer the only person raising serious concerns. In January 2026, another lawsuit came into public view, filed by Brian King Joseph, an electric violinist best known for reaching the finals on America's Got Talent. Brian had joined Will Smith's tour in 2024, but his legal filing presents a troubling account of that experience. According to the lawsuit, Brian alleges that Will engaged in behavior he describes as predatory, claiming he felt gradually groomed and emotionally conditioned for possible exploitation. Brian cites specific language he says Will used, including the statement, "You and I have such a special connection that I don't have with anyone else." While that phrase might sound supportive in isolation, Brian argues that, in context, it reflects a pattern associated with grooming creating emotional exclusivity, obligation, and dependence that can slowly erode personal boundaries. The situation escalated further in March 2025 during a tour stop in Las Vegas. Brian states that while staying at a hotel, his tour bag and key card went missing, only to reappear hours later under unexplained circumstances. When he returned to his room, he encountered details that left him deeply unsettled, marking what he describes as a turning point in his experience. According to Brian, he discovered a handwritten note in the hotel room signed Stone F, which he claims is an alias linked to Will Smith or someone in his circle. The note reportedly read, "Brian, I'll be back no later than 5:30. Just us." Brian said the wording, "especially just us," made him uncomfortable, interpreting it as an expectation of private interaction that had never been discussed or agreed upon. He also described finding several personal items left behind, including wipes, an empty beer bottle, and a bottle of HIV medication labeled with a different name. In his account, this discovery felt intrusive and alarming, particularly in the context of the allegations outlined in his lawsuit.
Power, people take advantage of it. People know that they can just dangle a carrot in your face. Well, they don't know. They assume that, okay, because I'm Will Smith and because I'm an A-list actor celebrity, then you are going to drop and do whatever it is that I say, and I can help build you opportunities. And hey, you're a violinist and you're on tour because...
These details remain part of Brian's legal filing and have not been independently verified. He says he immediately reported the situation to hotel security, after which events allegedly escalated rapidly. Regardless of how the claims are ultimately resolved, the lawsuit added another layer of controversy to the ongoing public scrutiny surrounding Will Smith. Following the hotel incident, Brian claims he reached out to Will Smith's management team for support or clarification. Instead, he alleges that they dismissed his account and accused him of fabricating the situation. Shortly thereafter, he says he was removed from the tour entirely. In his lawsuit, Brian states that this termination caused severe damage to his career, financial stability, and mental health, and that he has since struggled with post-traumatic stress while attempting to rebuild his life. As these allegations surfaced, some viewers began re-examining older public footage involving Will and his son, Jaden Smith, interpreting it in a new light. One frequently referenced moment dates back to 2013, when they were promoting After Earth in Thailand. During a televised appearance, Will is seen kissing his then 14-year-old son on the lips, after which Jaden appears visibly uncomfortable and pulls away. At the time, the moment received mixed reactions, but recent discussions have prompted some to reassess the clip with a more critical eye, paying close attention to Jaden's body language and the audience's awkward response. According to public recollections and archived footage, the Thailand incident was not the only moment that later drew attention. Viewers also pointed to a similar interaction on the Ellen DeGeneres show, where Will appeared to repeat the same gesture on camera. At the time, both moments passed with minimal scrutiny.
You know, I love him, Ellen. I love him.
But years later, these moments resurfaced in online discussions. As a result, some commentators began challenging the idea that they were merely cultural differences or isolated misunderstandings. With newer allegations entering the public conversation, audiences started rewatching older clips with fresh eyes. What had once been seen as playful or affectionate behavior now struck some viewers as uncomfortable, especially when examined through the lens of personal boundaries that are in this context. Critics suggested that the moments reflected a possible lack of awareness regarding comfort levels, particularly in situations involving younger individuals or clear power dynamics, rather than reading as private fatherly affection. Some argued the interactions seemed performative, amplified for the camera, rather than grounded in the child's comfort. Around the same time, Jaden Smith reportedly made a surprising decision. He sought legal emancipation at just 15 years old. This move, which would have formally separated him from parental control, fueled widespread speculation about underlying tensions within the household.
They do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills, Bashir Gray, left that house.
In the years that followed, Jaden Smith's public behavior drew constant attention. His bold fashion choices, abstract social media posts, and unconventional statements became central to his public identity. Will often praise this as fearlessness and creative freedom, but some observers saw it differently, interpreting it as a reflection of a deeper struggle to define himself after growing up under intense public and parental scrutiny. Years later, Jaden shared a post that many felt reframed his public image entirely. He wrote that all the weird stuff people had seen him do was him trying to fit in, and sometimes he acted weird on purpose, so it would seem intentional. Many readers interpreted these words not as confidence or rebellion, but as signs of confusion and emotional strain, a young person grappling with identity in an environment unlike anything most people experience. When considered alongside other widely discussed moments, the uncomfortable public displays, the Scientology-linked school, the reported attempt at emancipation, and Jaden's own reflections, some observers began asking deeper questions about life inside the Smith household, away from cameras and red carpets. Looking further back, outside accounts added complexity. During the early 2000s, while filming Ollie, comedian Paul Rodriguez recalled the set as a difficult environment. He described Will as undergoing a noticeable personality shift, becoming increasingly aggressive, moody, and harsh, a stark contrast to his public persona. Paul speculated the change could be tied to the physical demands of the role, referencing possible steroid use and roid rage. He also claimed that tensions escalated after Freddie Pacheco, the real-life figure Paul portrayed, allegedly directed racial insults toward Will, which Paul said Will redirected at him. While based on personal recollection and not independently verified, these accounts painted a very different picture of Will, a figure with unresolved anger and volatility beneath the polished public image. Scrutiny of Will Smith isn't limited to the past. Recent attention has turned to Westbrook Incorporated, the media company founded by Will and Jada. Publicly framed as a forward-thinking creative studio, anonymous former employee reviews on Glassdoor tell a different story. Words like toxic, egotistical, and controlling appear repeatedly, with reviewers claiming leadership dynamics discourage dissent or criticism. A female producer quietly settled a claim against one of Westbrook's partner companies, alleging she was sidelined and pushed out after raising concerns about the workplace culture. While this did not generate major headlines at the time, the details raised questions about internal operations and power dynamics. For years, stories like these circulated quietly in Hollywood. Now, as public conversation gains momentum, long-standing whispers are being revisited with renewed attention. What's happening around Will Smith reflects a broader shift in the industry. The once untouchable celebrity is increasingly under scrutiny. Public trust in curated images has eroded, and scandals involving other high-profile figures, like Sean Combs, have accelerated the shift. Terms like creepy and predatory have entered mainstream discourse, as more individuals come forward with claims about secretive, exclusive industry spaces. Polished appearances and public apologies no longer neutralize controversy. Instead, scandals prompt deeper scrutiny and more questions. So, what happens when a carefully protected image begins to fracture? When lawsuits accumulate, public trust weakens, and every move is closely watched. Will Smith's attempted comeback illustrates this clearly. In early 2025, he released a new album, marking his return to music after a long absence. Rather than reigniting enthusiasm, the project faced widespread criticism. Fans and reviewers described it as out of step with current trends, calling it corny or disconnected. Despite heavy promotion, the album struggled to gain traction, failed to chart significantly, and quickly faded from public attention. The release of the single Pretty Girls only intensified criticism. The music video drew negative feedback, including high dislike ratios on YouTube, and critics framed the track as emblematic of a midlife identity crisis. Even so, Will appeared unwilling to step back. Reports suggested he reached out to major figures like Jay-Z and Kendrick Lamar, possibly seeking guidance, collaboration, or renewed credibility, though these discussions remain unconfirmed. Will's next moves drew even more attention through high-profile collaborations with internet personalities like KSI, XQC, and Brooke Monk, seemingly aimed at tapping into younger audiences. Instead, public reaction suggested the partnerships felt awkward and overly calculated. The collaboration with KSI, in particular, was widely criticized as forced and corporate, reinforcing the impression that Will was trying too hard to align with trends that didn't naturally fit him. That perception deepened in June 2025, when Will appeared unannounced at London's King's Cross station, performing classic Fresh Prince tracks for passing commuters. Intended as a nostalgic reconnect, the performance was widely framed as disconnected, with footage showing a largely indifferent crowd. Reports also suggested significant resources were poured into social media promotion to force visibility. While common in modern marketing, critics argued the effort highlighted the limits of manufactured momentum. Audience engagement cannot be bought once authenticity is questioned. At the center of all this is a broader industry reality. Hollywood often rewards performance, but punishes perceived inauthenticity. For decades, Will mastered the art of presentation. The charismatic, approachable superstar audiences believed they knew. Whether he lost touch with that identity or hid parts of himself too, Will remains open to interpretation. Now, the conversation continues. Is this the collapse of a once untouchable figure, or simply another turbulent chapter in a Hollywood story still seeking redemption? The answer is unfolding in real time, shaped by public reaction and the ever-watchful eye of the media.